Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of a comedy from the UK, English language, released in the year 2012, directed by Ben Wheatley, and this film is called Sightseers. And the story to Sightseers is as follows. Chris wants to show Tina his world, and he wants to do it his way. On a picturesque British journey through his sceptred isle in his beloved Abbey Oxford caravan. Tina's led a sheltered life, and there are things that Chris needs to her to see. The Critch Tramway Museum, the Ribblehead Viaduct, and the Keswick Pencil Museum. And, of course, the rolling countryside that separates these wonders in his life. But it doesn't take long before his dream starts to fade. Litterbugs, noisy teenagers, and pre-booked caravan sites, not to mention Tina's meddling mother, conspire to shatter Chris's dreams and send him and anyone who rubs him up the wrong way over a very jagged edge. So this movie centers upon a couple. You got Chris and Tina. Tina is a very sheltered person. She's a little bit of a simpleton, and she really doesn't know what it's like to live in the outside world. Her life consists of her mother, who is very controlling. She's a little bit ill, and she doesn't let Tina go out of her sight, basically. So Tina has met a guy named Chris, and they pretty soon become a relationship. And Chris wants her to get away with him in his beloved caravan and go for a holiday through the British countryside. But Tina can't get away from her mother, but eventually the mother reluctantly accepts Tina wanting to go and allows her to leave. But at no stage does she ever really allow her to enjoy herself, because she's always making her feel guilty about leaving her behind. But anyway, Chris takes her on a holiday, but pretty soon their idyllic holiday where they're supposed to be relaxing takes a turn when Chris is absolutely fed up with people who are being irresponsible, such as litterbugs, noisy teenagers, people who are just inconsiderate of other people's feelings, and Chris is fed up and he wants to take a stance against this, and he does so in a very shocking way. So what started off as an innocent holiday spirals out of control, and what happens from that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on the film. I'm sure that a lot of us out there, you go on a holiday or you're going through the street and you see someone do something really, really annoying, such as litter, and they throw it on the floor and you think to yourself, well, I feel like just smacking that guy. That was just really inconsiderate. Does he realise what he's doing? And you just get really, really angry, but majority of people will not let that show. You're not going to act out on the anger, even though you feel like you want to smack this guy across the head for doing such a stupid thing. You never really act out on it. So that's a feeling we all have, whether it's in the street, whether it's on the sporting field or whatever. There's someone always there that rubs you up the wrong way, and you think to yourself, well, I'd kill him, but you never do it literally. So I feel that Ben Wheatley in this film has taken that inner feeling and he's made it onto the screen. But in this case, Chris, who is the main character, he really does take it on. He really does go that extra step. So it's kind of giving you a sense of satisfaction in that someone is acting out this way, and we're kind of doing, that Chris is doing these things that we're imagining doing ourselves. Well, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes, you say to yourself, I want to kill that person for doing that, but it doesn't literally mean you're going to do that. But in this case, it actually does literally mean Chris is going to actually do something really extreme in order to kind of settle society for what he believes. So the underlying message in that I thought was really good. It's basically taking that inner feeling and it's manifesting itself on screen. And so that was a really interesting part. And that's exactly what makes Ben Wheatley a very interesting director. He takes very humane qualities and he makes it onto the screen. There's a very subtle approach that he has. All of his films, Down Terrace, Kill List, and this one, is a very low budget film, but I feel that Ben Wheatley uses the low budget to absolute perfection because he helps create the mood that he wants. And this is a director who really does make a style of his own. When you watch a film, you know you're watching a Ben Wheatley movie. And those type of directors are few and far between, basically making movies for the love of it. This guy, Ben Wheatley, has his own style. It's a very shocking style, very shocking violence, mixed in with some light-hearted humorous quality. So, his first film, Down Terrace, it had that sort of moments in it where you're kind of laughing along and then all of a sudden a shocking moment will happen. Down Terrace was his first film. A lot of people hated that, but I actually enjoyed it. Then he made Kill List, which was a better film, and that featured some very shocking violence. I felt that he upped the ante as far as violence is concerned from Down Terrace, and also he's created some comedy in there as well. It's not in-your-face exaggerated comedy, and I wouldn't call any of Ben Wheatley's films comedies, but they are very, very dark humour, so it's going to appeal to a very specific taste in humour. If you're a sicko kind of person who likes to laugh at things that you probably shouldn't laugh at, Ben Wheatley is that type of director, and I really like his sixth sense of humour, and it really shines through in those two films that I mentioned. So going into this one, I didn't really know what to expect, because this one was billed as a comedy more than anything, but I was kind of hoping that it would have that shocking element that makes Ben Wheatley so memorable. And thankfully, he really, really does deliver in this film. This is a very, very funny movie, but at the same time, it's so shocking. There are moments in the film where I thought, whoa, I was not expecting Chris to go that far. And there are some really, really shocking moments, and you feel really guilty for laughing, and that's something I love about dark humour. You're laughing to yourself, and then you think to yourself, well, I really shouldn't have laughed at that because it's shocking. It's absolutely disgraceful what Chris is doing, but the way it's been done is just really funny. So you have to have a sixth sense of humour to really appreciate what this guy does. And if you do have that humour, this one will really deliver it to you. I think this is his funniest film. I thought the script was absolutely phenomenal. I thought every single line of dialogue was really witty. I thought it kept the film going. The pacing was brilliant. I thought, it was funny from the first scene to the last scene. And the consistency was second to none. I thought the acting was fantastic from the two leads. You've got Chris, who was a more domineering type, but there's always these likable qualities about these people. So it's not black and white. I keep talking about in movies that some people exaggerate them to a caricature rather than you've got black and white rather than having a little bit of mixture, a little bit of grey area. And Ben Wheatley does it in this movie. You've got Chris, who's a psycho, but you can understand his frustration, and you can understand that he wants to become a better person, that he wants this thing with Tina to work, but his inner frustrations, his inner psycho is taking over. So it makes him a very scary individual, but at the same time a lovable sort of individual. So once again, you feel guilty for sympathising for his situation. Then you've got Tina, who is more of a half-wit. She doesn't really know how the world works. As I said, she's been dominated by her domineering mother for so long. Everybody is making her feel guilty, but you know that in some parts, as these shocking acts continue, you kind of feel that she knows it's wrong, but she doesn't have the self-confidence to really let her thoughts out there, and she was following Chris blindly. So it kind of feels like Chris is the controlling force, and Tina, life is spiraling out of control, and she really doesn't have any power to it. But then as the movie draws to a conclusion, she starts to show an evil side as well. So these two characters were very rich in depth. I thought they were both very likable, but at the same time psychotic to the point where you really feared them. The people who enter their lives, I thought were really well done. There are no characters in the film that you want to see die. And that's what makes the violence even more shocking, in the fact that, yes, these are everyday individuals. Yes, they've done some things that are wrong, but they're not enough to warrant these shocking acts that Chris is actually committing. And, this is a very, very shocking film as far as violence is concerned, but it is absolutely laugh-out-loud funny. But be very careful. The movie will advertise itself as a straight-out comedy that will make you laugh out loud. It does appeal to a very specific type of sense of humour. If you like your very black comedies, this is definitely one that is going to deliver on all fronts. I thought it was a work of genius as far as dark humour is concerned. The ending was just icing on the cake. I thought that was a brilliant way to end a film, and it just stayed true to the overall feeling to it. So this is a case of a director who makes movies for the love of movies and not just selling out and trying to make as much money as possible. So if you're a fan of Ben Wheatley, see this one. I feel that it is best film by far, and I am giving this one 5 stars. Absolutely fantastic, and it's one, as I said, that really, really stands out to you as both shocking and also funny. So you're not quite sure what to feel about it, but what you will feel in the end is very satisfied that you actually watched a very decent film. So that's my review. 5 stars for Ben Wheatley's Sightseers. Go and see it. Alright guys, until next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.